Now, Marty Snyder is saying, be interesting how many Splash animatronics gets repurposed. That's interesting, Marty. I'm very curious about that as well. I hope they reuse as many as possible. Also, we heard the other day, Dre and George, about how, I forgot where we heard it, and I'm sorry if you guys can remember.
I think it was WDW Pro from that Park Place.
It was WDW Pro. Yep.
WDW Pro from that Park Place. Check them out. They do phenomenal work over there at that Park Place. And Pro, we had him on here. He's fantastic.
Fantastic.
But they were talking about how the Belle animatronic from the Tokyo Beauty and the Beast ride is going to be the same technology they're going to use for the Tiana animatronic here in Splash Mountain. And I am 1000% on board with that. The animatronic over there in Tokyo is one of the most lifelike, fluid figures I've ever seen.
Let me see if I can bring it up, actually.
Yeah, bring up the article. That was fast. That was really fascinating. And it was, you're right. It was Pro.
Because that audio animatronic specifically of Belle, it was more than just, it's almost like a carbon copy of the animated film. Literally.
Oh, okay.
It's literally, nothing like cliche about it. I mean, it literally is if you taken the animated figure and literally molded her into a 3-dimensional space. That's literally how realistic this audio animatronic is. So if they do that for Tiana, I'm definitely, I agree with you, OG. I'm all for that.
See that. I would love
now, our friend Rudio is saying Splash at Disneyland animatronics are on their last legs. Half of them work and the lighting is janky as ever. Oh yeah, Rudio. I went on Splash on the anniversary on July 17th, and the lighting was terrible. I mean, like most of the lights are out. Like some of the animatronics are moving like in the dark. He's right. The ride is in some bad shape. They completely cut the budget.
I've never been on Splash Mountain because, heights and I'm going to try, but I know I'm a wimp. I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm such a wimp. I think the fact that there's water will make me more comfortable. But yeah, no. I actually agree with the next comment down with Tanuki. I think it is that projection face thing. I so agree. I think it works really well on Haunted Mansion.
Yes, it does.
I don't know if I'd put that anywhere else though, because
it's on Frozen Ever After. They use that for the characters for Anna, Elsa, Kristoff, and the issue with
is that new?
That's at Epcot.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. So
like so, I don't know it. Okay,
so
cool.
it does work really well when it wants to. But if let's see, how do I put this? When the projection doesn't work well, are you familiar with the Willow Tree statues? Okay. How there's no face, it's just a figure.
Yeah.
Okay. Think of a 5-foot willow tree when it doesn't work.
So this is the Belle animatronic that we have at Tokyo.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh dang.
She moves very fluidly. It's a very impressive. It's a very impressive audio animatronic for sure.
And that's going to be the same tech used for our Tiana in our Splash Mountain. So rumor.
So the eagle-eye viewers, if you see this piece of concept art for Tiana, you'll see that she's kind of in a familiar stance there with the lantern and so forth. You can see how that juxtaposes with this figure. So it looks like it might be a reskin of this same kind of animatronic base.
That's so cool. They should. That looks a lot less terrifying. Though the eyes, will never change of being those dead fish stare eyes. But I still love it. That's what they look like. Just lifeless, just flat. But everything else looks great. She moves wonderfully. She's super pretty. I don't want to be negative. I'm just like, it's great. I love it. It's much better than what I was expecting.
Here we go. We got to have the dead fish stare eye.
Dead fish eyes. Oh, man.
Oh, this is going to be a new hashtag. Oh, God. You know what I mean, though.
Yeah, okay. I mean, look, eyes are really difficult to get right.
No,
even with Lincoln, the very impressive Lincoln audio animatronic with an amazing face that you see in Great Moments, Mr. Lincoln. Yeah. Even the eyes can get a little, if you stare at them long enough, it's like
it's very difficult to get. So I'm fully on board. Like I can overlook that as best as possible, because that's like impossible to get lifelike eyes that don't look serial killery. So, you know, I know that's really hard. I'm more impressed with how smooth and how natural the movements were, because that's the hardest.
Some of the new figures, like Hondo or Rocket that you see in Guardians of the Galaxy,
I love Hondo.
Some of them are, I mean, they are beautiful. They're brilliant. I mean, with the level of smoothness and so forth.
I agree with Showcase with this one. I really do. I mean, I've been on Runaway Railway many times. It's okay. I would actually, with that particular style of the Mickey Mouse shorts, I would rather it just be, in that sense, all screen, because the dimensions of those characters, it doesn't really work well when it comes to the audio animatronics. It just seems too flat for me. Aside from Daisy, when you're in the dance room and everything, I think honestly, out of all of them, she's the best audio animatronic in that ride. But as far as, believe it or not, Mickey and Minnie and Pete and some of I'm not a fan of those kind of animatronics, unfortunately. I love the ride. Don't like how they replaced it with the Great Movie Ride, but you know, that's a whole nother story.
Right.
And I'm really curious how close our version is to the Walt Disney World one, because they're building ours from scratch, from the ground up. Mm-hmm. Very curious what they changed.
They said there was going to be
new scenes.
New scene. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it might be more different than we think. We'll see. But now there's still the element of they buy in bulk. They build these attractions in twos because it's cheaper to buy the stuff in bulk. I would imagine majority of the attractions is going to be very similar, but there's probably going to be some elements. You know, whenever you're not constrained to an existing building, I think it typically turns out better. Not always, but typically does, because you can design around what you need. It's a little easier, you know.
Yeah.
But remember, fellas, and gal, that just remember that, you know, it was impossible to build anything more in Toontown. It couldn't be done. You know, it couldn't be done.
It can't be done, George. It's impossible.
Yeah,
it's impossible. You can't build anything back there. It's impossible. You know, just like you can't build a third park. Just like, you know, we heard it all the impossible, you know, nonsense. But Showcase is funny. Showcase is funny. New scenes can't save that ride.
Look, I have not written it. I've explicitly not looked at any videos or anything like that. I vaguely know what happens roughly, but I haven't seen visualization of that.
I was actually having a conversation with Showcase about this, the similarities of how I think with this ride in particular, especially for Walt Disney World, I think it would do much better in Disneyland because of the Toontown setting. But I think it's more so for us. It's a bitter moment because, as I mentioned, we lost the Great Movie Ride. That is where it like completely killed it for us.
Right. It's different. It's a different situation. We're a net gain, and you guys broke even basically. Well, and maybe not even broke even. Like you and Showcase are saying, the Great Movie Ride was really awesome. So you almost kind of.
And not to ruin it for you fellas, but if you were to experience the Great Movie Ride, and anyone out there, you know, go on YouTube, watch the Great Movie Ride. So much detail in each room of those scenes that was put into a cinematic scope of these films. And then when you take something like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, you're basically looking at bare rooms because everything is dimensional. Yes, exactly. So now, it's like all those scenes was completely gutted.
Now we should probably give viewers like maybe Kenna here maybe some more clarity on what the Great Movie Ride actually was. Well, it was the kind of what do you want to call it? The thesis attraction for Disney's MGM Studios when that park opened in 1989. So yeah, I mean it was a showcase. It was an audio animatronic spectacular, but it was a showcase of different films come to life in kind of this three-dimensional setting.
That's a great
so
idea.
You could go through like the Munchkin Land from that's the Wizard of Oz. You could
Singing
go
in the
through
Rain.
Singing in the Rain. You know,
Mary Poppins had a scene.
Mary Poppins, Tarzan. There was a. Indiana Jones, there was multiple scenes actually illustrated there in
the one
three-dimensional form.
The one scene, Kentna, that you would not appreciate is the alien scene.
I love aliens though, like a lot.
Okay,
like a lot.
Okay,
a
now
lot.
would you be okay with an audio animatronic coming down from the ceiling vent?
It's meant to be scary, therefore it will work.
Oh, you see, that's a very interesting.
There you go.
If it's meant to be terrifying, it's doing its
Okay,
point
so
properly.
what terrifies you is the things that aren't supposed to be terrifying, but that's what makes them creepy. Gotcha.
Correct.
Okay.
That's interesting. That's
Yes.
actually pretty interesting.
It's
That's interesting. Now you guys forgot about my favorite scene in the Great Movie Ride, the super bad scene.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one for show. For show. I'm getting that for show.
No, I'm just kidding. There's no super bad scene. I wish that
Come on.
Oh,